Good morning. This is day 109 on my adventure hiking the Pacific Crest Trail from Mexico to Canada. It is 9:40 a.m. and I'm still in bed. I think I definitely got the best night's sleep I am yet to have at all on the trail last night. I fell asleep before 10 o'clock. Didn't even start editing my video. I was so tired. And I woke up at 5 a.m. and then went back to bed. I'm sure I was up a little bit throughout the night, but I didn't track it to save battery on my phone, but I slept so good. I woke up then again around 7:15 or something, so I got like a full probably 8 or 9 hours. It seems like I'm sure I was in and out of sleep because it's hard out here, but I felt great. And then there's supposed to be thunderstorms today. I ran the weather, so I started kind of laying, slowly getting ready with my shin hurting so much. It's so sore and beat up right now, and then kind of just slow moving with this weather, and then I kind of kept just falling back asleep as I was like slowly eating breakfast, editing the video from last night. By that I just mean like watching it through and returning videos so they're all facing the same way and stuff, because for some reason it's never done right. And I fell back asleep, woke back up at 8, and then woke back up at 9, and now it's 9:40. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to be too hard on myself right now with, I haven't done this on the trail at all, but I kind of removed that pressure of having to get going. It's 27 miles to get to Sayad Valley, and there's just no way I'm going to do that in one day right now with my shin as it is. Normally I would have planned to have been getting there today, so I kind of took that pressure away from myself. I don't have enough food to really survive. I'm going to have to get moving at some point, but and then there's supposed to be thunderstorms all day, and I just was about to start packing up, and I've been kind of waiting, kind of hanging out for that reason too, because I have a really good pitch. I have my guy line staked in. I was ready for a storm last night. It didn't come, but they're showing on the Garmin weather from 10 a.m. to basically 6 p.m. thunderstorm. So I'm kind of like, I don't want to pack all this up and then it starts pouring rain. So I'm kind of just hanging out. It's a first for me. I'm not too bothered by it because I feel like it's probably what my shin needs anyways to give it any chance for this thing to heal quickly. So yeah, weird morning for me, but feeling so rested from such a full night's sleep. Also last night, right before I went to bed, there were deer fighting outside my tent, probably over the rights to my pee. And I was so tired and in pain, I didn't even open up my vegetables to watch, but I almost did. But there was I did see a bunch of deer when I went to bed, and I could hear them fighting. So interesting. Sure enough, just minutes after I filmed that last video, it started raining. Not super hard, but enough where it would be a little annoying to be out there. If I was healthy, I wouldn't mind just doing it and hiking in the rain, but that added layer of uncomfortableness and difficulty with this injury, with this shin splint, it feels so, I don't know how to describe it, unstable and thrown off with my shin, that trying to combine that with thunderstorm is just, I just don't like the idea of it. So I don't know, I'm just gonna kind of keep chilling here, I think. But it's showing thunderstorm all day. Yeah, I just feel so winded and beat up from this shin. It's hard to explain. Almost like when you get the wind knocked out of you, kind of like that, where it's really hard to push. I posted a comment letting people know about the water here, where to get it at the lake, and last night, and I ended up reading other people's comments for this area, and some were saying they think this is so I was saying I think it's so beautiful, it's totally on my own, but some said they think this is the most beautiful part of all of Northern California, and to really enjoy take time here and enjoy it, because the next 17 miles are some of the toughest, not in terms of terrain, walking, challenging physically, but psychologically, burn zones. Someone said they counted 222 blowdowns in this next stretch before getting to Syed Valley. So that's trees that are in the way of the path. That it's like burn zone, it's a not maintained trail, and it's pretty exposed and kind of boring. So yeah, that's what I have ahead of me too. It's raining, drizzling. I don't know, I'm under some trees, so it's not hitting me as hard here, but it's enough where I don't really want to get out now and get set up, because one, sucks doing it in the rain, but whatever. But two, because if it starts to rain harder, like I want to have my shelter ready to go and up. So I'm really apprehensive to leave right now. I think I made the right call, all factors considered, staying here, because I've got a really good pitch and a good spot here under a tree. It's noon now. I'm still laying here. I've just been catching up on sleep and rest and trying to massage my shin, but I'm hoping to get it like 10 or 12 miles in today to leave about 15 to 17 tomorrow to get to town, but we'll see how this day unfolds still. But yeah, it's noon. I'm still laying here, but with everything coming up and how my shin is and everything, I don't want, meaning there's all these blowdowns and it's very exposed. Like I don't want to be stuck in this storm. So I think I got a good spot here to ride it out. It didn't even rain that hard. It was like a light rain for a while though. And look at this. My tent wetted out at the bottom. Like, how do you design a tent that's not waterproof? It's unbelievable. I got to see if they purport it to be waterproof or not before I get upset at Durston. But it's pretty unbelievable. It can't even hold up to this. I have the actual tent ground sheet that they sell specifically. So it's sized appropriately, because you don't want this to be longer than your footprint, because then water could pool in. Well, somehow it still did. I even dug a moat out on that side in the wood chips, so this wouldn't happen. But somehow it still got in between, because it's dry under here. So somehow the water got in between there, and then all my clothes, which I had laid out here underneath my little foam pad for extra padding, are wet, or damp, I should say. So I'm wearing a completely damp clothes, from my underwear to my pants to my shirts. It's unbelievable. $700 tent. The zippers are breaking. Everyone I know has zipper problems. The floor is wetting out. I'm gonna have to look into this more, but wow, did not really pass the test. I haven't experienced too much rain. So you can see where I dug a little moat. So that's where I saw water coming down. And so I dug a moat so it wouldn't come in, but it looks like a little bit creeped in right here somehow, and then went right in between my ground sheet and the tent. And I'm like totally damp, everything. And the bottom of the tent's clearly not waterproof. So good stuff, good stuff. You can see my tent spot there. It's pretty nice. All right, this is day 109 on my hike from Mexico to Canada on the Pacific Crest Trail. I think this is one of the most beautiful spots I've seen in the whole PCT. It was cool to post up here for a bit. I decided to do so, as mentioned, because of my shin splints and also the rain. It just seemed like a good time to take a little break, but I have never started my day this late ever. 109 days, starting at 1:15 p.m. My shin hurts a lot, but I did rest it and massaged it and put on the CBD cream and other things, so hopefully it helped a bit. It's not in good shape at all. I just showed you what happened with my tent in the rain. It is showing rain on and off for basically the rest of the day, but I waited it out until 1 because it looked like the most was supposed to come right up until then. And that's just based on the Garmin I get. It gives you a forecast for every 2 hours, so it's not like I see like the Doppler radar or anything like that. But oh shit. But yeah, so that's that's kind of what's going on. I just saw some friends walk by, so I know there's some friends probably a mile or less ahead of me, which is nice because it's pretty quiet and empty. But yeah, this is a tough scenario. I think I made the right call because I knew I have 27 miles to get to Syed Valley, which is the general store where my new shirt's at, and all of that. I there's no way I was gonna get that all done in one day with how my shin is. So I split it into two. So basically I kind of had a little extra time then in a way, but I don't know, just if my shin wasn't the way it is, I probably would have just sucked it up and gone out in the rain. But because I'm so mindful of every step of my shin, trying to deal with that and rain conditions is just more than I want to deal with right now. So I think it was the right call. I actually slept so good, like I said last night. Best night's sleep I remember getting on trail. No clue why, but so grateful for that. I just felt really good. And I took so many little naps today. I basically was in and out of naps until like noon. So feeling very rested in that sense. It's just good. Shin is hurting every step. I gotta hang this up now and try to tend to that, walk more carefully. But yeah, I know my hair was super messy this morning. Like I could have made it look nicer for the videos, but I just didn't bother because I was still laying in bed. But yeah, this isn't a strange day for me. But all right, I'll catch y'all later on trail. I'm gonna try to do somewhere between 6 and 12 miles still today. But dang, my shin is not feeling good. Dang, I really thought that rest would have help my shin. You know, like the mentality of like it's hurting early, so let it rest and heal. But this is fucked. This is not in good shape at all. So frustrating. Every step's hurting, and this just seems to get worse. Everything else, like I mentioned, kind of warms up. This interior tibia tendonitis just seems to get worse the more you walk on it, to the point where then it becomes debilitating. All these little creeks and stuff are flowing a little harder, I think, than normal because of the rain. There might even be some that were dry yesterday that are flowing again now. Can hear one coming up. I just passed a few small ones. This one's flowing. Yeah, my opinion remains. This is one of the most beautiful parts of the whole trail. I think it's really cool. Amazing how many people skip this. I can think of few situations in my 35 years of existence where I felt more frustrated than dealing with the injuries that have come up on this trail and how they've been impeding my ability to reach my goal. There are a few moments I remember in investment banking where I was absolutely abused as an analyst, that I recall like a 5 a.m. Saturday night, haven't slept all weekend because I've been at the office all weekend. I'm like getting so upset I like had to like do more work at that hour that just came in or something. But where I remember like actually like punching a book on my desk, which I like never do. Not really a violent person at all. But that was the absolute build up for months and months and months of that kind of stuff that it just culminated. I was so frustrated. I can't think of many other moments. Truly, this is insane. The degree of frustration I've been having to try to keep at bay. Because if I lose that mental game, I'm done. With these damn injuries. Another time, this level of frustration was when I was going through my divorce and no progress was being made. It's just the whole process was being dragged out, and I was getting financially penalized every single day, dragged out. So it was like in the counterparty's interest to drag it out, and I just wanted it to be over and behind me. And my God, the frustration with that whole situation. I was cheated on, married my college sweetheart. We talk again now as friends, like 7 years later, but I didn't talk for like 5 years. But when I processed, I just couldn't put it behind me. I was being dragged out, and every day that I was dragged out, I basically had to pay more because Illinois was a no-fault state, so it didn't matter what went down. Yeah, but those two environments, investment banking, going through a divorce, I can think of few scenarios where I've experienced this level of pure frustration. It hurts a lot. The only iota of hope I have for it is what I mentioned yesterday, I think, which is when I was at this degree of pain on my left one on day 14 through and onward, I was stretching it, which is really not good for it. So I'm avoiding doing that with this one. So the only hope I have is that with painkillers and CBD cream and massage therapy, self-massage, and walking slower and trying not to stretch it in any manner, whether like intentionally or while walking, it'll maybe heal enough to the point where I can walk normal on it again. It's my only hope. I look ridiculous. I mean, look at me. I'm so beat up. Kind of cool though. Yeah, as I'm making this climb up, got like a little under 1,000-foot climb to start the day. I just remembered what I said this morning. There's a ton of blowdowns and it's not maintained trail. So that's probably going to be starting shortly after I get over this climb and then starts descending into Syed Valley. That's not going to be super enjoyable, but that's okay. Okay, I'm just under 7,000 feet, like 6,900 or so. I think there's a little flat / downhill part here, and then I'll go back up just a little bit higher than I am now. But this is basically the top. Been in high elevation for the last, definitely most of yesterday, but there's, trying to even remember coming out of Etna. Yeah, there's a good climb. But anyways, going down to Syed Valley, we dipped to almost 1,000 in elevation. It's a little bit above that. But then climbing out of there, I think you go all the way up to like 6 or 7 again. So it's gonna be a crazy climb out of there. I don't even know if I'll be able to with my shin. I gotta figure this out, but I'm just planning to keep going. But last time I had this degree of pain with my left shin and I kept going, I was completely debilitated. Like I've been multiple times in the last few days for small periods of time, entirely debilitated, where I literally have to, like, it's shooting sharp, terrible pain that I have to put all my weight in my other leg, stop, and kind of fall to the ground and lay down, sit down. So and it got to the point last time I had this where it was like that the whole time. Every step hurts right now, but I can still move. But I'm also I took medicine and have the cream on and all that. So we'll see. But I'm just gonna assume I'm gonna keep powering through here one way or another, which is very wishful thinking. It's gonna be quite a climb out of Syed Valley, but gradual from here. Once I get to this peak, this little dip up again, or pop up, and it'll gradually go down. But there's lots of blowdowns. I told you someone counted 222. I saw someone else say they counted 190 something. So that's crazy. Most of them are probably small, easy ones to step over, but oh man, I'm kind of interested to see what's ahead here. I'm really enjoying the eeriness of this. Like truly, I think it's really cozy for some reason. I also like Halloween, like it's grown on me. I used to not like it as a kid. Definitely grown on me over the years. Kinda. But like there's a line between some of the stuff out here that I find cool and some that I just prefer not to be in terms of like scenarios and the degree of discomfort one might find themselves in psychologically. But this I think is pretty cool. You can see all these blowdowns. Looks like some kind souls have cleared this out at some point. But apparently most of this part, I don't want to say section, this part between here and Side Valley is not cleared out. So this is the beginning. Somebody counted 222, someone else said 190 something. So, okay, here we go. Man, it was so nice to sleep so well and so long. I laid in bed. Last time I remember checking the clock, I think it was like around 9:30 p.m. And then I was gonna watch my video and get it set up for ready to post. And it's usually my nightly routine, and I'll finish in the morning, whatever I fall asleep to if I don't do it. I was so tired, I just paused it from like the very beginning, went to bed, and I heard deer fighting outside my tent around that time, but I don't think I really woke up to the point where I like looked at the time or anything until it was 5 a.m. And honestly, that's a full night's sleep. And so I thought about if my shin was okay, I would have gotten up and left at the time, but it was hurting so much and so painful. I figured some extra rest would be good for it. Went back to bed, woke up a couple hours later, 7:15 or something like that. And then because the shin felt so off and wrong, I laid some more in and out of sleep till like 9. And then I decided, because of the weather, to stay and ride it out. So, and then I got a few more little kind of naps in. So I got a lot of rest, and I wish I tracked it. I bet yesterday I would almost guarantee it was over 6 hours of actual sleep, which I've only had like 5 nights like that on here that I've tracked at this point. It's not much, but it just felt good. I felt like I had a real night's sleep. And so that trickles into now. Like it's the opposite of being cranky and groggy and tired and just zombie walking. Like I may have probably overslept, honestly, so I feel a little of that, but like all in all, I feel very rested in that sense. My left stress fracture is hurting a little bit, but nothing to the degree like it was for those 2+ weeks. So grateful that still seems to be healing, but I'm unable to guard it the way I had been for days, the way I was walking on it right now because of my right shin. Maybe they're related, I don't know. I'm gonna try to get a call with my good buddy Kyle, who's a top physical therapist. And I say top because he literally was asked to start his own graduate program at a top university in the US. So objectively he is, and I'm very lucky to have him in my court as one of my best friends, and also somebody who, even though I just had twins, he's still available to me largely when I need his support and questions. So I was messaging him from my Garmin last night and this morning. I think we'll try to have a call when I have service, but yeah, I don't know. I do think they could be related. Maybe I was putting so much stress on my right foot trying to protect my left that eventually it just crapped out. But yeah, at least I'm sleepy rested. That's good. Well, it's good to know the hardest part of the elevation is basically behind me. There's a bit of an increase in gain there, but I still have that last little peak I was talking about, but that's not much. And then after that, it's mostly is gradual downhill all the way to Side Valley. I mean, I'm going off of what I've talked to locals and also looking at the elevation map, but depending on how far you're zoomed out or in and the level of detail it shows, like I'm generalizing here, but given my shin issue, actually downhill might not be great for me. But from an effort standpoint, it is good to know. Should be a little bit easier miles in that sense. Now, got to add in some people have referred to it as or I call it an obstacle course. Some people say you have to, it's the ninja part or whatever, but gotta have to go through all these blowdowns that are about to come up. That's gonna make it a lot harder and slower. Trade-off, I guess. I like the camaraderie with the Sobo hikers, so I just passed the first one of the day. It's a very brief interaction. I was going uphill, so he got aside from me, and I was like, "You going all the way?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, "How about you?" He's like, "Come from Mexico?" I was like, "Yep." He's like, "Send it." And I was like, "You got this." Kind of around the same time. Did a fist bump. Kept going. It's the homie with the same bag as me. Overcast is great. It's a really nice break from the heat. The pounding heat that's normally at this time of day around 3 o'clock seems to be consensus of everyone I talked to as well. Nice to have an overcast day, but also it was raining earlier, so that it seems like most people are hiking in it. It was pretty light rain. Just given everything I described earlier, just obviously waited, let my shin rest a bit and everything, but yeah, this is really refreshing. It's not crazy hot for once. Yep, frequency of blowdowns has begun. My watch has been changing fields on its own on a daily basis now. It used to be every 2 to 3 days. It is so frustrating. I will definitely be calling them out of principle when I'm done with this hike. Garmin. All right, took the phone out, tried to look at something on my watch as about to video, and then saw it got changed. So anyways, this weather is incredible to hike in. It's almost perfect as long as it's not raining. It's like the perfect temperature. There's no sun. It's light out. Big fan. Well, it's definitely dependent on the mood that I'm in, and I'd say right now I'm pretty neutral because obviously I'm so frustrated with what's going on, but coming off a good night's sleep. But I'm really enjoying the camaraderie of seeing Sobo hikers come through. Little hype man. Yeah, as I was filming that, someone else was coming by. It's the 4th Sobo hiker I've passed out today, but I said my line now is coming from Canada. They say yes, then I respond some kind of hype man like, "Let's go," or "Let's get it," like a fist bump. It's kind of fun. Pick up the spirits a little bit, both for them and for me. I mean, kind of cool to think that combined with these people I'm passing at me, we've walked the whole trail. So I've got over half a liter of water still, but I'm thirsty, so I'm gonna want to drink some of that. There's water off trail in about 0.15 miles, and then there's not water for like 6 miles after that. I'm thinking of pushing because it's mostly downhill after this little stretch, and the sun's not out, although it could come out, and I have a decent amount on me still. But I think it's only 100 feet or so off trail, which is nothing, but maybe kind of steep. These are like, this is not super material or important. I'm just sharing this because these are the kind of decisions you're making all the time, each day. And most of the time I get them right, but sometimes those calls are wrong. And you're always trying to balance out saving time and energy and weight you're carrying versus having the security that you need. Coming up is Ophelia and Kevin, my Swiss French-speaking friends, and probably Chopsticks, who's the other guy with the same backpack as me. Kind of good. Good to see some people. And there's another southbound hiker coming up, Sobo. Buckhorn Springs got some horns on it. Look at that. water is like only 100 feet. It's not very steep, so I'm gonna collect some beautiful background, the flowers and the mountains. Great to run into old friends and new. These are people who don't quit. They're all doing every step. Great to run into other people like that. They'll be passing me soon. All right, my plan is just to do 7 more miles. Actually, everyone back there is planning to camp at the same spot too, so it'll be nice. Good people. But yeah, just with my shin splint issue and the time of day, I had that same place earmarked, so I'm just gonna try to keep taking it easy, get there, and then head into Side Valley tomorrow, and hopefully managing this pain appropriately will just keep it from getting worse, and then it'll just, I so far today I've been able to deal with the level of pain. It's not gotten to the point where I had to completely stop like I did yesterday and the night before. I'm a level of frustration where I'm cursing because the pain is so high, and what that indicates potentially of me having to stop the hike. That's where the swearing comes from, is that level of frustration of everything I've fought through and everything I've been through to get to this point, just for it to end because of this crap. Like, anyways, so I did take painkillers, but I was also on them yesterday. But I also have, I'm just, it's early in the day. Yesterday I hiked 21 miles, so we'll see. We'll see, but I'm slightly optimistic, like I said earlier, that if I don't stretch it and just kind of take care of it, that maybe I'll be able to walk on it enough and it'll just heal, but who knows. But yeah, that's the plan. 7 more miles, and I've done 5 so far. Check in later. It was interesting in talking with the people back there, like some I've known, like Ophelia and Kevin I've known since Tehachapi, and saw them in right before Sonora Pass, and saw them in Yosemite, and they're people I've known for a while. Rode the bus out to Yosemite together and all that. But the other guy is who I met briefly in Mount Shasta, has the same pack as me, from France, and then the other couple is from Switzerland as well, but the German-speaking part. But like everyone seems to have a similar perspective of, like, at this point, the ones out here still with me. Kind of on everyone else who skipped ahead. Like, the joke they're making is like, there's a place called Lake Merino that's like 20 miles into the whole hike. It's like, yeah, I went to Lake Merino and then I skipped ahead to the Canadian border. I hiked the PCT. Like, at what point do you draw the line, right? Like, and that's why everyone there too is kind of doing what I'm doing, which is you hike every mile unless, you're legally not allowed to. So it's nice to be around other people who have a similar approach and perspective, and as some of them said, it's just nice to see other people because they've noticed how empty and quiet it's gotten, and that's because so many people skipped ahead to Oregon, and we're also towards the back end of the Nobo hikers at this point. So there's definitely people behind us, but in terms of like the big wave, we're way behind the big wave, so, or bubbles, so to speak. So yeah, it's just kind of nice chatting and have other people have a similar take on this. And then additionally, I asked if they're having fun. It's like, yeah, at times was the answer, but they're like, same thing I was thinking and have said. They're like, could be at a beach in Mexico, having nice food somewhere in Italy. Like, why do I do this to myself, is what they say. So like, I definitely feel the same. I'm gonna have to hang up here so I can get around here, unless there's some other route. But yeah, Side Valley is 21 miles away from where I am now, and like I said, I've got about 7 to go to get to where I'm going to camp tonight. It's a half day, so tomorrow I should leave around 15 miles or so, a little under, to get into town where my new shirt's waiting. I can do a proper damage assessment on my shin splints, come up with a plan. But yeah, I think it's a super small town, but there's a general store and that has a cafe that has, I heard, good milkshakes and food. So that will be good. Well, the sun has come back out, so lost that really nice hiking weather. Definitely feel it. I had to put sun lotion on. I've been using my face sun lotion, which I typically put on my nose and just the bottoms of my cheeks for where the sun might, my hat might not block the sun. been having to use that on my shoulders for the past 3 days because that asshole at the Postmaster in Mount Shasta. So I had to reapply that or put some on just because it's already getting kind of red on my shoulders. But I really enjoyed the overcast, even though I only had it for like a couple hours. Shin is hurting, but manageable. I'll tell you what, having to do Ninja Warrior, as someone in the comments called it, or I call it an obstacle course, all the blowdowns with shin splints and healing stress fracture issues, not ideal at all. Because the whole point I found is trying to avoid like abrupt landing on the shin splints and shocking it, and like where that tendon is kind of stabilizing your leg. And then same with the stress fracture. There's a certain way to land on it, and obviously if I'm doing Ninja Warrior or whatever you want to call it, there's a lot more possibility of landing on them hard or the wrong way. These ones aren't bad, but there's been a good amount of blowdowns. So, nice view. So someone at that water spot said, and I don't know this, but I'm gonna take their word for it, that basically any tent will wet out eventually if you've got like water sitting under it. So I don't know why they can't make a waterproof one, but it's pretty disappointing that happened. So, you know, but I guess maybe according to them, there's really no solution for it. I have a headache, I feel nauseous. I don't know why. Maybe I had my electrolytes this morning. Maybe it's because I didn't have a proper lunch, because I didn't start till 1:15. I just kind of ate a bunch of like bars as I was moving, and candy and crap like that. It's possible that's why. But it's not like when I have an actual lunch, it's something that substantial. I don't know, maybe it needs some more water. It's not a great feeling. I don't think it's dehydration because I've peed 3 times and I have to go again right now since I left that water source, which was 3 miles ago, and it's pretty clear liquid. Don't think it's electrolytes because I took some this morning. So I'm banking on maybe diet. Like at least lunch when I have it, I have like some kind of like real, even if it's been preserved, like tuna or like meat, it's like more real, like cheese, a tortilla, instead of just eating like candy and bars, which is what I've had all day, and donuts this morning I had. Got 54 miles till I hit the the Oregon-California border, and my shin is hurting so far, and I'm only 8 miles in on the day, right? Like, but it's not been that absolutely debilitating pain so far. So very cautiously, mildly have a little room for some additional optimism at the moment, but I'm very cautious about that given how serious of an issue it is and what it was the last 2 days. Maybe that rest helped a bit, but like I feel it in every step. It's not good, and I'm walking different because of it, but at the moment it's manageable. 54 miles to be done with California. Of course, as soon as I said that about my shin, not 30 seconds after, I stepped on a rock with my heel that didn't like see it properly, and my whole foot slapped down forward, which put a ton of stress on my anterior tibia, which just sucks. So now it's flared up even worse again than it was. This stretch has been pretty bad because it's a steep cliff and there's been like a bunch of logs like this crisscrossing each other. I was literally walking across a log. Would have been quite the spill if I didn't make it. But like, yeah, I see this just kind of untamed. Tree's very interesting how the branches are hanging down like that. Got 3 miles left to go for a day that's not a Nero. This will end up being my shortest mileage day probably since like the very, very beginning. I think it's very understandable though why, but yeah, my shin's definitely flaring up more now ever since I stepped on that rock and then kind of my toes smacked down. Ninja Warrior, Woodland Olympics, or obstacle course. 6 p.m. I'm 10.5 miles in. I needed to stop because my shin was hurting too bad. If it gets to this point, I'm just going to have to keep stopping. Otherwise, it's going to get to the point that it did the last 2 days where I was literally debilitated. So I think I'm laying in a bed of poison oak, but I tried to avoid it as I threw my pad down. But there's been a lot of it around. I think the headache might be from the medicine. Forgot about the variable. I think my shin is hurting a lot more now because it's probably wearing off. Been about 4 hours or so. 4.5, and that's not great. However, it was hurting less while on the medicine than it was yesterday while I was on the medicine, but also yesterday while I was on the medicine, was it like I had already done 18 miles or something, so my optimism was probably premature. Shin is not doing well. I think I was just kind of, the medicine was working. It's not helping having to go over those freaking obstacle courses. Shin splint sucks so much. One of the worst pains. The pain sucks a lot. Like, worse than most sporting injuries and anything I've had on this trail. But I can handle the freaking pain as much as it sucks and takes all my energy to focus every step on. The concern I have is making it worse. This just gets worse. The other ones suck a lot and hurt too. But like something about this just gets like, it's like compounding. It's like it starts hurting more, and if you keep walking on it, it gets to this point where it's debilitating. That's the only word for it. And the pace I'm going now, trying to like not let it get like injure it more, just doesn't work with the timing I've left. Hence my frustrations. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do about this, but I've overcome too many goddamn challenges and struggles and injuries already to stop this far. I did not come freaking all the way through California, 1,650 freaking miles just to stop. So I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but I'm not stopping. I don't know how to describe the anterior tibia tendonitis pain well, but it's like the different levels. Lowest level, which has been coming on and off for the last 4 or 5 weeks, is like a discomfort there, soreness at the end of the day. But then it gets up to the second level, I'm calling it, which is like, it feels almost like a blood clot, which I don't even know what that feels like, but it just, conceptually, it's like there's like a bunch of pressure in like the vein or tendon there, and it has nowhere to go, and it's just gonna explode. And then the third level is the debilitating one, where that gets so bad, it's like, it basically like feels like it's bursting open. I don't even know how to describe that pain. It's absolutely horrendous. One of the worst pains I've ever felt in my life. That third level. So I've been walking on level 2 now for the last mile. I don't know, maybe I was all day and I just didn't feel it because of the painkillers. So frustrating. Starting to feel a little rainforesty again. There's that one stretch early on, kind of Northern California, or not early on, but maybe midway through, that I wasn't sure if it was going to last, which it really didn't, but starting to feel that a little bit again. I'm not that far from Oregon at this point. And that's the terrain I largely expect more of in Oregon and Washington. Oh, I hear some of my friends and new acquaintances down there. So this is where, basically at the spot. Shin is killing me. I'm bummed because I wasn't even planning to be out here tonight. I was supposed to be in town already, so I don't have any dessert. I was able to ration out my food. So I do have a rice side to have for dinner. And then I'm gonna take what I was gonna have for lunch tomorrow that I rationed out, which is the salmon. I'm gonna throw it in there, or sorry, not salmon, tuna, for some protein. And then I'll just have to suck it up tomorrow with a few snack bars, and then hopefully get to this Syed Valley Cafe or whatever before 2 o'clock when they close, which I don't know if that's gonna happen with my shin, but this has been a painful but very nice morning because I relaxed for once. Never really do that on trail. Day 109. I might get another video or two in, but otherwise I will see you all tomorrow. Actually, I hear the water I'm gonna collect. Maybe I'll video that, but okay, ciao. The watering hole here, everyone else. But one of my friends there just said, happy trails is a lie, because people say happy trails to each other, and I agree. Just grabbed 2 liters of water. I don't know if you could hear me with the creek there. What I was saying is one of my friends that I've known since for a while said something about happy trails is a lie, because that's what people say to each other, happy trails, sometimes, because the amount of below down trees we just went through, and just I think that's probably what was driving their frustration. But yeah, I totally get what he meant. I've seen a few good spots in here for camping. Actually, hang on. There's some right in there. But they were all talking about going to another spot, which I'm tempted to take this. I kind of feel like having some camaraderie and company though tonight, so I might go see what the deal is over there. Not too far. Usually I would take that. Historically, I almost always prefer to have my own space and stuff, but I don't know. This shin splint issue, and I hadn't seen these, Kevin and Ophelia in a while, and there should be room for all of us there. I think I'm gonna join them because we kind of talked about that already. Well, it looks like the one at Rinsmina is kind of full already, so I kind of walked halfway, and I was like, there's a bunch back here, the ones I just showed, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of them came and joined. Well, I hate backtracking, but it was only like a 20th of a mile, so this is where I'm gonna post up for the night. Doesn't look like anyone else is coming. They must have gone on a little further. There's another spot, like a dirt road, but I would much prefer to be next to water in the woods than on a dirt road somewhere. So yeah, so again, this has been day 109. I'll see y'all tomorrow. It's just such a bummer that I have this horrible shin splints coming out of nowhere. Like, otherwise I think I'd be feeling pretty good right now, like about to get out of California, like stress fracture is feeling better. It's like, god damn, like, it's just like the trail doesn't want you to have fun ever, or ever be in a good place. There's always something. Found this guy. Just like me, he carries his home on his back. I'm gonna put him right back where I found him. Cute.